The wedding coordinator rushed toward me, her face pale with panic. The caterer just canceled. 2 hours before the ceremony, everything's falling apart. My ex-husband's wife, Vanessa, spun around and snapped at me. Don't just stand there. You're not helping. I pulled out my phone, my hand steady. Actually, I know exactly who to call. My name is Grace Thompson, and I'm 52 years old. I raised my daughter, Lily, mostly on my own after my divorce 10 years ago. It wasn't easy, but we made it work. I'm an event coordinator at a small community center. Not glamorous, not fancy. But I've planned hundreds of weddings, fundraisers, and celebrations over the years. I know how things work behind the scenes. My ex-husband, Brian, remarried 5 years ago to Vanessa, a real estate developer with money, connections, and opinions about absolutely everything. When Lily got engaged, I was thrilled. My little girl was getting married. Until Vanessa stepped in and took over the entire wedding planning process. I wasn't rich or polished like Vanessa. I didn't have a designer wardrobe or a country club membership. But I had something she didn't. Years of real experience and a network of people who actually trusted me. I tried to stay involved. I really did. But I was pushed to the sidelines over and over again. Vanessa threw money at everything. I knew how to actually make things work. I told myself it was Lily's day and I'd stay quiet for her sake. But when disaster struck 2 hours before the ceremony, everything I'd been holding back finally mattered. Has your family ever treated you like this? Share your story below. It started 6 months before the wedding. Lily invited me to lunch to talk about plans. I arrived excited, carrying a binder full of ideas, venue options, vendor contacts, budget-friendly tips I'd gathered over the years. Then Vanessa showed up, unannounced. She slid a glossy portfolio across the table, her nails perfectly manicured. I've already booked the venue, waterfront estate, $80,000 budget. I froze. Lily looked uncomfortable but said nothing. Vanessa smiled at me like she was doing me a favor. Grace, we appreciate your input, but this is a bit beyond your scope. I swallowed the insult. My chest tightened, but I kept my voice calm. What can I help with? Lily hesitated. She wouldn't look me in the eye. We've got it covered, Mom. Just show up and enjoy the day. I felt like I'd been slapped, but I smiled and nodded. What else could I do? Over the next few months, I was excluded from everything: dress shopping, cake tasting, floral design meetings. I'd text Lily asking if I could help. She'd reply, "Vanessa's handling it." Every single time. 2 weeks before the wedding, I received the seating chart by email. I wasn't listed as mother of the bride. I was seated in the 3rd row, behind Vanessa's book club friends. I called Lily in tears. She sighed on the other end of the line. Mom, Vanessa paid for everything. Just don't make this harder. That was the moment I realized I'd been erased from my own daughter's wedding. Then the wedding program arrived at my house by mistake. I opened it with shaking hands. Under hosted by, Vanessa's name was listed, not mine. I stared at it for a long time, feeling something inside me crack. A week later, Vanessa hosted a ladies-only bridal brunch at her country club. I wasn't invited. I found out through a Facebook post. There was Lily, Vanessa, and a dozen women in matching silk robes, holding champagne glasses and laughing. The caption read, "So grateful for my bonus mom." I texted Lily. No response for 2 days. When she finally replied, it was brief. "It was last minute, Mom. I didn't think you'd want to come." I didn't even know what to say to that. The rehearsal dinner was worse. It was at an upscale restaurant downtown. I wore my best dress and arrived early, hoping to at least feel included for one night. Vanessa greeted guests at the door like it was her event. like she was the mother of the bride. During the toasts, Brian stood up, smiling. He thanked Vanessa for making this dream wedding possible. No mention of me, not one word. I sat there, trying to keep my face neutral. Then I stood up to give a toast of my own. Vanessa cut me off before I could finish my first sentence. "We're running behind schedule, Grace. Maybe save it for the reception?" Lily didn't defend me. She just looked down at her plate. I sat down, humiliated. Vanessa's friends whispered and stared. I wanted to disappear. The morning of the wedding, I arrived at the bridal suite to help Lily get ready. I thought maybe, just maybe, I'd get to be her mom for a few hours. Vanessa blocked the door. "We've got a professional team handling everything. You'll just be in the way." I looked past her. Lily was surrounded by stylists, bridesmaids, and Vanessa's sisters. She glanced at me for just a second, then looked away. Vanessa handed me a boutonniere with a tight smile. "You can help pin flowers on the groomsmen if you'd like." I took it without a word. I walked out, blinking back tears. But I didn't leave. I didn't break down. I went to the venue early and checked in with the staff. Old habits from years of event work. Something felt off. The vendors were stressed. Timelines were chaotic. I overheard the coordinator on the phone, her voice panicked. I stayed close, just in case. I wasn't there to prove anything. I was there because, no matter how they treated me, Lily was still my daughter. But part of me wondered, what would it take for her to see me again? What Vanessa didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I'd spent 15 years building relationships in the local event industry. I knew every florist, caterer, photographer, and venue manager within 50 miles. I'd helped small businesses during tough times. I'd bartered services, covered last-minute emergencies, recommended vendors to brides who didn't have huge budgets. They didn't owe me favors, but they trusted me. Vanessa had hired all out-of-town vendors. Expensive, impersonal, no backup plans. I'd seen this kind of setup fail before. The morning of the wedding, I got a text from my friend Denise, who manages the floral co-op. "Grace, did you know the flower truck broke down? Your daughter's wedding is in trouble." I didn't respond yet. I wanted to see if Vanessa could handle it. What they didn't know was that I was already 10 steps ahead, and I had a phone full of people who'd move mountains if I asked. My friend Jenna, a veteran wedding planner who'd worked with me for years, pulled me aside around noon. "Grace, I've been watching this train wreck all morning. That coordinator Vanessa hired has no idea what she's doing." She showed me her phone. 3 vendor cancellations. Caterer's van broke down on the highway. Floral delivery stuck 3 hours away. DJ stuck in traffic 2 states over. Jenna shook her head. "They're gonna need you, and soon." Meanwhile, Vanessa strutted around the venue in her designer gown, taking selfies and directing staff like a movie producer. Brian stood beside her, oblivious, checking his watch. I overheard Vanessa on the phone, her voice sharp and cold. "I don't care what the problem is. Fix it. I paid you enough." She hung up and muttered, "Amateurs." I stood near the bridal suite and heard Lily crying. "Everything's falling apart, Vanessa. What are we going to do?" Vanessa's voice was icy calm. "Don't worry, I'll handle it. Your mother couldn't have done better anyway." That stung, but I stayed quiet. Then the wedding coordinator found me in the hallway, tears streaming down her face. "The caterer canceled. The flowers are stuck 3 hours away. We have 200 guests arriving in 90 minutes and no food, no centerpieces, and no backup." Vanessa appeared behind her, her face pale. For the first time all day, she looked rattled. "This is a disaster." She looked at me, not with respect, with desperation. "Can you do something?" I paused. Every instinct told me to walk away, to let her fail, to let her see what happens when you throw money at problems instead of building real relationships. But then I thought of Lily, my daughter. I pulled out my phone. Give me 20 minutes. I stepped outside into the sunlight and made the first call. Hey Marco, it's Grace. I need a miracle. Marco owned a family-run catering company. I'd helped him book his first big event years ago when no one else would take a chance on him. Grace, for you. We'll make it happen. Give me the address. Second call. Denise at the Floral Co-op. I've got 10 centerpieces left from a Saturday event and access to the weekend flower market. I'll be there in 45 minutes. Third call. My nephew, a DJ who owed me a favor. I'm on it, Aunt Grace. I'll grab my gear and leave now. I walked back inside. Vanessa stood frozen, staring at her phone like it had betrayed her. Caterer's done. Florist is done. What did you do? I looked her in the eye. I called people who actually show up when it matters. Within the hour, Marco's team arrived with trays of elegant appetizers, pasta stations, and desserts that smelled incredible. Denise and her crew set up stunning centerpieces, rustic, beautiful, better than Vanessa's original order. My nephew's music filled the venue with energy. Guests began arriving. No one knew anything had gone wrong. Lily found me near the entrance, her eyes red from crying. Mom, you did this? I nodded. I told you I'd be here for you. I meant it. She broke down and hugged me. I'm so sorry. I didn't see it. I didn't see you. I held her tight. It's okay. You're okay now. Vanessa stood off to the side, watching, her face tight. Brian approached her, confused. You said you had it under control. She said nothing. After the ceremony, Vanessa cornered me in the hallway. Her voice was low and sharp. You did this to embarrass me. I shook my head. I did this for my daughter. You were never part of the equation. She opened her mouth to argue, but I walked away. I didn't owe her anything. The wedding was beautiful. Lily glowed. Guests danced and celebrated, completely unaware of the chaos that had almost destroyed everything. At the end of the night, Lily pulled me aside. Thank you, Mom, for everything, for always being there, even when I didn't deserve it. I squeezed her hand. You're my daughter. That's never going to change. Brian approached awkwardly and mumbled, You really saved the day. I didn't need his approval anymore. Vanessa left early, her designer's smile finally gone. I stayed until the last guest left, helping clean up, laughing with the vendors who'd come through for me. As I drove home that night, I realized something. For years, I'd let them make me feel small, like I didn't matter, like I wasn't enough. But I'd just proven, to myself and to everyone watching, that I was more than enough. I finally understood I never needed their approval. I just needed to remember my own worth. If you've ever been pushed aside by people who should have valued you, I hope this story reminds you. Your worth isn't defined by how others treat you. Drop a comment and tell me, where are you watching from? I read every single one. And if you've ever had to stand up and save the day when no one believed in you, share your story below. Hit subscribe if you want more real stories about family, betrayal, and finding your strength. You're not invisible. You matter.